Okay. All right, then we will call the Brimfield Township Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, February 17th to order. We have an agenda. The agenda is available online for anybody to see on the Brimfield Township Board of Zoning Appeals website. We could have a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Bruce Nippenberg,
Here.
Scott Etling,
Here.
Vince Bordacco,
Here.
Ed Schutte,
Here.
Sean Phillips,
Here.
William Kramer, and Clayton Popick.
Here.
Also present is Economic Development Director and Zoning Inspector Mike Ladd, myself, Zoning Secretary Lauren Kaufman, and Brian Gardner, Brimfield Township IT Director.
Okay, next it would be the approval of the minutes from January. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from January 20th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from January's meeting. We could have a roll call vote.
Bruce Nippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Bordacco,
Yes.
Ed Schutte,
Yes.
Sean Phillips,
Yes.
William Kramer, Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Okay, we have an agenda. Has everybody been notified properly? Newspaper, all the letters go out for the agenda tonight?
Yes, they have.
Okay, we have an agenda. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the agenda. We could have a roll call vote, please.
Bruce Nippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Bordacco,
Yes.
Ed Schutte,
Yes.
Sean Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Okay, the next item will be to swear everyone in. If you're going to be speaking this evening, I will read it, and then when your name is called, please respond that you either swear or affirm. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you will give before this board is to the best of your knowledge an accurate and truthful presentation of the facts?
Okay, Jason Peters,
Yes.
Carrie Peters,
Yes.
Michelle Hirschberger,
Still on mute.
Yes.
Allison Francis,
Yes.
Daryl Guarinello,
Yes.
sorry, Scott Flynn,
Yes.
David Crummell,
Yes.
Dave Mitchell,
Yes.
Todd Hutchinson,
Not present.
Mike Woolwind,
Yes.
and I believe did I miss anybody?
Yeah, Daniel Cirque. I'm the owner of the company. I'm representing for Todd tonight.
Okay.
And I affirm.
And Jim Turk, Aero Industries, I affirm.
And Ryan McNutt, architect with working with Aero Industries, I affirm.
Okay.
Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is a variance application, Rockland Homes, Jason and Carrie Peters, 916 Talmadge Road, Kent, Ohio. The applicant is requesting a variance to build a home on 0.926 acre lot. The zoning resolution, section 304.03A, the minimum lot area requirement is 1 acre, exclusive of road right of way. Okay, I guess we could start with Michael, if you could let us know what the zoning department has to say about it.
Yeah, so in this particular subdivision, it was approved prior to the zoning changes in 2014. This lot was still existing to be built on. We had a similar situation on Selnick, where they were half-acre minimums and they just fell shy, and we had an interpretation from the prosecutor on what to do with these type of situations, and he said it's better to get the variance on these, just to confirm, because none of these were granted non-conforming uses. I think, at the time when it changed hands, it should have had that non-conforming use in order to build. It doesn't, so the right thing to do is to just come before the board and get this approved.
The applicant, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Jason and Carrie, do you have anything to say?
Nothing.
No.
Enough said.
Enough said. What Mike said,
Enough said.
Mike said it very well.
Thank you.
All right, we have the applicant. Do we have any questions from the board? Okay, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the variance.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for a variance to allow the building of a home on a 0.926 acre lot as described in the application. We could please have a roll call vote. Nope, you're still on mute.
Oh, sorry. Bruce Nippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling, Vince Brodacco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
Sean Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Good news, Jason and Carrie. We got it.
We'll call you here in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our next application is also a variance application. Allison Francis of 2037 Old Forge Road in Kent. The applicant is requesting a variance to have a fourth accessory building on the property. Zoning resolution section 510.03A, lots shall be permitted a maximum of 2 accessory buildings or structures in association with the principal building. Okay, if the applicant would like to tell us what it is we're looking at and what we need and what you're needing the extra building for.
Yes, sir. This is Daryl Guarnillo. We purchased the property late July. The structures were here. Didn't realize there would be an issue. We re-sided and re-roofed one of the pole buildings. The other one we determined to be a little bit too far gone to do anything to, so we wanted to do a raise and rebuild. That'll be approximately 600 square feet less than the existing structure. The other 2 structures in question, one's really a glorified doghouse, and the other one is a woodshed, which only has 2 walls, but it does have a roof.
Okay. So you'll be eliminating one of the buildings and just replacing it.
Correct. It's basically a raise and rebuild.
Okay. Same style, same everything, only newer?
Correct. Yeah, a little bit smaller. Existing's 40 by 90. The new one will be 34 by 88. Built by Pole Barns Direct.
Did we have any letters or comments from the neighbors?
No, there were none.
Michael, do we have anything from the zoning department?
No.
Do we have any questions from the board?
Sure.
Okay, in that case, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the removal, replacement of an existing building and allow the 4 buildings on the lot. If we could please have a roll call vote.
Stippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Brodacco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
Sean Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Righty. You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Our next application is Arrow RE Brimfield LLC, address 4240 Sunnybrook Road, Brimfield, Ohio. The variance request applicant is requesting a variance for an additional driveway. Zoning resolution section 31304, the maximum lot coverage per parcel to be covered by building and other impervious surfaces shall not exceed 80%. The total area providing all yard setback distances and landscape requirements are satisfied. Yard areas to be grassy and landscape. Okay, Michael, could you let us know what the zoning department has to say about this one?
Yeah, so we have previous meetings on this with the business, and we appreciate Arrow being here in Brimfield. They're very busy, as they'll explain in a minute. And we've been working with Mike Wolin as well, and the county engineer. I got asked for their assistance on this, as well as Dave Rufeners, our road superintendent, to ensure that safety and everything else would be acceptable on this. And everybody is in agreement with the plan. It just needs to go through the board for the section 31304.
If we could then, the applicant, let us know what it is we're doing on the property.
Hi, my name's Scott Flynn. I'm the attorney for Arrow RE Brimfield LLC, which is the holding company, which is where Arrow Industries operates. Mr. Turk is the owner of both entities, and he's going to speak tonight in a little more detail and show the some pictures of the property. I don't have a whole lot more to add than my cover letter, which I had sent a few weeks ago to the board. Mr. Turk has invested, I would say, substantially in this community. He took this property over in 2014 and really turned a dilapidated building into a nice commercial property there on Sunnybrook Road. And he is expanding, wants to expand, wants to invest another at least $750,000 into this property, which will add about anywhere between 15 to 20 jobs to this business. So it is kind of an irregular shaped property. Obviously abuts 76 there. It's kind of triangular. And really what I didn't address the impervious surface issue in my letter because I wasn't aware of that at the time I sent the letter. But really the brunt of the request here is to add this additional driveway with an unloading dock for these flatbed trailers, which Mr. Turk has a picture of them, but they sit triple stack trailers. And we really need, the client needs an additional dock so that these trailers can be unloaded efficiently for the business. And right now there's a dock already that's, I would say its use is grandfathered in, and the trucks don't use this dock that often. But when they do, a portion of the truck goes out into the right of way while the truck sits there and unloads. And it's usually a 5 to 10 minute process, only a few times a week. This second loading dock would similarly need that use of the right of way for a short period of time, which is why we reached out to the first Mr. Hlad and obviously the engineers to make sure this wasn't going to be a safety issue. my clients shown over the years that it's not a safety issue and they can adequately use this property in this manner. But due to, the right of way being extra wide in that area, we would need the variance in order to put in the second loading dock. And at the same time, Mr. Turk is going to be putting in, paving some of the gravel areas and cleaning up some of the driving aisles around there, which should help with some of the dust issues. The only complaint over the years was a minor complaint from one neighbor a while ago about some of the dust in the area. And we think that, this will, cleaning up this property even more than he already has, will alleviate some of the dust issues around there. So Mr. Turk will, I think he's got some slides. He can show the property a little bit more, which we've already gone through in detail with the engineers to show them how this property will be utilized. And we also have Mr. Woolwin, as Mr. Halad said, here to answer any technical questions that the board may have regarding this project. So I will turn it over to my client, Mr. Turk, at this time to talk about that. So.
Thank you, Scott. As Scott said, I'm Jim Turk. I'm CEO of Aero Industries out of Indianapolis. We came to the Northeast Ohio area in 2001 with the purchase of OCA Enterprises up in Streetsboro. And we grew that business to the point that we needed more space. And we bought this property in 2014, renovated the building, upgraded a lot of features in it, and started operating in 2015. To tell you a little bit more about what Aero Industries does, I'm going to share the screen, hopefully. And essentially, we serve the trucking industry. So dump trucks, dump trailers, we make tarp systems or covers that go over the top of them. And so we show a few of our models here. We also service the flatbed industry, and we make tarp systems and other accessories such as bulkheads and undermount storage boxes. You can see all this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I guess I should have asked that first, huh? So, why did we come to Ohio? Well, there are several major manufacturers in the area, such as Mack Trailer, East Manufacturing, Heritage, EPAC, Trailstar. It's a major truck trailer manufacturing hub in the United States. So we service those manufacturers. We actually drive over to their facilities, pick up the trailers coming off the manufacturing line, and install these tarp systems and return them back to the OEMs. So let's take a look at the site. So here we are. The Aero Industries site is right here where I'm kind of moving my mouse. Got I-76, Mogador, and Sunnybrook. So we're sitting right in that intersection. Now if I can get the Zoom is interfering there. Okay, so here's a satellite view. Again, there's I-76 and Sunnybrook. And we're currently on a property outlined by the mouse here. And what we want to show is we have a lot of semi-trailers on the property. And we even have some of our inventory outside. So it's a crowded space, high volume use, and it caused us to, we had to make a decision where we were going to stay in this location or move. And so this summer we acquired a piece of property that's sort of like an L shape. So it's 50 feet of property along here between Arrow and Taylor, plus this triangular shaped property down here. So we acquired that, turned this from a 2-acre property into a 4-acre property. So what I want to show you is what we're planning to do with the property. And so here is the new site plan. Now it's kind of rotated at a 45-degree angle. Here's the existing building. And here, over here is part of the property, and all this is the new property. We plan on turning all of this into parking area. So it'll be paved here, it'll be paved over here, and this will be gravel in the back. And then we're gonna put where this D is, we're gonna put a little lean-to so we can store our outside product under roof. The parts that we are, and Scott talked about earlier, we have a gravel lot now. It raises a bit of dust, and we're going to pave it over once and for all and eliminate the dust problem that we're causing for the neighborhood. So bear with me here. I got to move this down. All right, so back to the satellite view here. So what we have right here are two existing docks that feed onto Sunnybrook. This one here is below grade for dock loading, and here is a grade level that we can back trucks or cars into the building. Those have been in existence since the building was built, I think in the 60s, 50s or 60s. And so these docks get used 10 to 12 times a day. So we are, as a matter of practice now, backing trailers into this spot. Now, so what I want to show you why we want to have this addition. And I'll show you. Okay, so flatbed. This product here called the Conestoga, you pass them on the road all the time. This is a fabric covered flatbed trailer, looks like a van. And we make the tarping system for this trailer. So the trailers come to us and we put our tarp systems on it. So how do they come to us? So the trailers are delivered to us in a stacked manner from the trailer manufacturers. Not so much Mac and East, but trailer manufacturers from Pennsylvania or Alabama or Kentucky or Tennessee. They come to this because that's an inexpensive way to ship 3-in-1. And what we have to do is drive these trailers off one by one. And so what we need is a grade level dock that we can back a trailer on. And so the first trailer will go into the dock and we'll go around and drive onto the surface of this trailer and grab this one and reduce a stack of 3 down to a stack of 2. And then we'll do a process one more time. We'll back these trailers into the dock and pull the top trailer off until we have all 3 undecked. So it is, so going back to the site map, we're asking for a new dock to be placed right here. And I'll blow this up a little bit. And so this new dock, which is going to be semi-parallel to the existing docks, will extend into the right-of-way area. And the reason we selected this location is we need a place to back it in, and we want to use the right-of-way in the street to back the trailers in. We'll back them in, the truck will drive around, pull the trailers off, pull that first, go back, pull this trailer, park it, put the trailers back in, go back, remove the second trailer, park it, and park the last trailer. So essentially a trailer is backing into the dock. It's there only a few minutes while once he gets it parked, then he has to unhook and drive around. So he's only in the right of way a very, very short period of time. And the reason we wanted this is because there's a grade difference between the street and the grade level of the property. So it took up a lot of the depth we need to get a grade level dock. This process will only happen 2 to 3 times a week. So we figured, and why we asked is if we were grandfathered with this one. If we could get some help with the second dock that won't be used as much as the primary dock, then this would help us facilitate the parking and undecking of our trailers. And that's essentially all we're asking for is the variance on being able to set up this driveway that extends into the right of way.
And it's impractical to move this whole operation back, say 50 feet?
Well, yes, like right here, these are dock doors. These are 6 dock doors that we need clearance to back these in. And we'll park trailers along here and all around this property, we're gonna be parking trailers, and our employee parking is gonna be back here. So yeah, it was a tough place to find a location for this.
So the only new part is that area D, that as far as construction?
As far as building construction, yes.
Right,
A
okay.
majority of the majority of this job is going to be concrete work and paving.
And with the additional impervious surface, will not create a difficulty with water flow or storage or flooding, so forth?
Well, part of the plan is we have to expand our storm sewer system. And for some odd reason, this is not scaling right. There is an existing storm sewer and we're going to be extending it and running drains all through the property. So yes, it will cause it, and we'll have to remedy that as part of the site plan.
This is Michael Woolwin Engineering. Just to give a little bit of background, when we worked on this project for Mr. Turk a few years ago, we put a underground stormwater system in of 36-inch pipes. That was for an addition of the parking lot on the east side. For this additional work on what we'll call the south side of the site, we are extending that oversized pipe system using a series of storm tech chambers. They're the half moon shaped orange plastic stacked systems you've seen in some places potentially that are under construction. So this project will have a lot of additional stormwater storage, and will get routed through Portage Soil and Water and the county engineer and the EPA as well, because we're over 1 acre of disturbed.
Do we have anything else from the applicant?
I
go
wanted to
ahead.
clarify real quick that the retaining walls for the loading dock that we're adding are on the property. They do not extend into the right of way. It's only the drive. So all the permanent construction is on the property.
It's the drive itself is using the existing curb cut?
It's using the existing curb cut at the road, but it comes off at a different angle. So you can see where the dash line is coming into the existing asphalt dock. So we're using the same curb cut, but it would be used for 2 separate docks.
Sure, okay. All right, do we have anything else then again from the applicant?
Not from me, thank you.
I think we're all set.
Were there any responses from any of the neighbors? Do we have any of the neighbors issue complaints?
No, none at all.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from the board members? Okay, so this, like you said, this won't really cause any additional traffic. It's just something that's already happening. We'll make it a little more convenient for the company.
Yes.
Okay. And as far as any blockage of the road right away, it's what's going on currently?
Yes.
All right, if we can have our screen back.
That'll cost you.
All right. Do we have anything else from any of the board members? Okay, that being said, do we have a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept the variance for the additional driveway.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to accept or grant the variance as described in the application. If we could please have a roll call vote.
Bruce Snippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Mordaco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
Don Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Scott.
Have a good evening.
Good seeing you, Vince.
Yep, good to see you.
The next application is for a conditional use application. Dave Crummel will have a conditional use and then followed by 2 variances. So for the conditional use, applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a planned residential development, zoning resolution section 400.10.b.56, planned residential development PRD. If we could please hear from the zoning department on what we have going on.
Yep, so this is going to be Dave has been here for a long time. He's been building condos in this area, and he would like to pursue and keep going on with building of the condos in this area. There was a previous approval on this that has since expired, so he's going back for that.
If we do we have anything from the applicant then?
Yeah. Now that I finally got everything where I can hear everybody. I started this project, the whole Pleasant Lakes project actually, back in 2000. So this particular section was started in 2007. Was originally set for 28 units. We have, at this time, we're looking at doing the last 8 units, but we'll only leave that section at 23. We'll be 5 short. I just really want to continue what we originally had planned. We did make some modifications. In this plan, the road's exactly where the other road was, but we put a cul-de-sac in. The old plan was approved with what's known as a hammerhead. They weren't real fond of it back then. You know, it was approved, but we went ahead and I told the engineer we'll go with the cul-de-sac. It takes up more room. And he didn't list, but we are going to put 8 parking spots off of that cul-de-sac, even though the 8 units have 2-car garages and 2-car parking in front. So what I'm asking is just to basically, with some modifications, finish this section, which is 8 more units. We're looking at the same sidelines that we had set up actually for the whole entire project, which was 10-foot side yards. The one side, if you look at buildings, the proposed buildings, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we do have enough room. We can give some space between those units. We have 69 feet, and we can bend them around that cul-de-sac a little bit, so we can get a little bit extra there. I'd like to try to hold the other ones. The other on the that's the west side of the road. 1, 2, and 3, they're kind of confined. Right now, they're 22 feet. Building 3 is 22 feet off the cul-de-sac. That was the criteria from way back when this whole development started, 22-foot driveways. So we stayed with the same program. Actually, he set the buildings back to 22 feet. And I guess, and you guys have a new rule on private road setbacks. So that's why I'm requesting that to stay with the same thing that we've done through the whole section of Waterford. And I'm finishing up Creekside, same thing I'm doing there, 22-foot drives. These buildings are actually set back 22 feet, so the drive's about 24. Adding any more footage really doesn't do anything except add cost to me. Doesn't really get anybody anything. It does run into some technical issues. Behind, on the east side, that building 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, there's a storm sewer that I have to continue on behind there. And there's a between that and the Highlands. And that hill, if we move those buildings back, we would end up having to put a wall down through there. Right now, we can go back 12 feet, 14 feet, and then we can make a gradual grade as been done down through there, and it's mowable. If you would push back that extra footage, you would be definitely doing a wall. On the other side of the road, 1, 2, and 3, that ground falls off. Where that is, keeping it the way we had graded it a long time ago, it's not going to interfere. We might put a deck on the back. If we stuck those buildings back to 16, 17 feet, those buildings would all have to be modified. They're all slab on grade buildings. They would all them foundations would have to, half the foundation would have to be modified. So that's why I'm trying to, hope to get the variance so I can continue what was going. Now, we have improved the product. It's a 3-bedroom product. I finished the last one in end of 2019, first of 2020, and that was the end of the road. And then we were going to bring this plan in the spring, and then COVID hit. And I got busy down at Creekside and on another project, and then all the projects, as you guys know, just went to even if they're moving like a snail, and everything took 3 times as long. So I just said, forget it. We'll just bring it in this winter, and then we'll look at doing it this year. So here I am asking for those variances, and that's why, and trying to basically finish that project up, that section.
Okay. Now, as part of the conditional use, all of these buildings are going to pretty much be the same as what's there?
We changed, yes, the last 3 buildings I built in 2018, 2019, those are 3-bedroom. They're a little bit bigger units, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. The ones we originally started with were 2-bedroom units. And these units are about 1,400 square feet. These units will sell in the 150 up to about 160 range.
They'll be part of the same homeowner, or condo association?
Yeah, what I had to do is when I came back and we started building these after everything went to crap and turned back around, we had to start a new association. So the Waterford actually has 2 associations. Waterford 2 right now technically has 5 units in it. And then the rest of these will be in it. And then we share the road, and we're sharing duties with the Waterford 1 Association. And that was just because the 7-year time ran out on the condos.
And there'll be no additional, you're not coming back for the 5 units later?
No, this is it. This will finish it off and, it should be a good addition, to the area.
And as far as the outside, it's going to look just about like what's there now.
Yes.
Okay. There's no sidewalks, correct? It's just,
No sidewalks, same private road, same has been throughout, 22-foot wide private road.
and that of course be maintained by the condo association?
Yes, as it is right now.
Do we have any questions from any of the board members?
We're just doing the first one first, correct? The conditional use?
This is just the conditional use.
Okay.
Were there any comments or questions from any of the residents in the area?
No, we didn't get anything on that.
Conditional use, do we have any other questions?
No, sir.
Nope.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the request conditional use.
I'll second.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use as described in the application. If we could please have a roll call vote?
Bruce Sniffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Bordaco,
Yes.
Ed Studi,
Yes.
Sean Phillips, and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
The conditional permit. There are two variances to go along with the conditional permit. The first variance, the applicant is requesting a variance for a minimum separation between the buildings of 10 feet. Zoning resolution section 4.10B 56.L.5, the minimum separation between dwellings shall be 35 feet. Okay, would you like to explain why we only need 5 feet between the buildings?
10 feet between the buildings.
10.
Oh, it'll be 10 between the buildings. I'm sorry.
Yes, 10 feet. It's the same as it was set up as the other ones all down through there. The only one that's not set up like that I did a single in 2018, 19, and we did a single instead of the double because it wouldn't fit. And but that's all those buildings down through there, 10-foot separations, 10 foot or a little bit more, and that's what I needed. Like I said, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I can adjust that after looking at it. I can get a few more feet. I can push 8 to the south a little bit, and 1, 2, and 3. I'm held tight there, keeping the 22-foot setback off the cul-de-sac, which the cul-de-sac interferes, but if I had the hammerhead, it wouldn't. But the hammerhead's just not a good, you can get an emergency vehicle in there and they can turn around. If you didn't do that, you got to go down and you got to back in and back around. Kind of like down at Redwood. They got parking area and then they got the road stopping. And if you do go down, you got to go down and they're going to have to back around too. So that's why we switched it. And I told them I'm going to try to get the variance on the 10 foot. I'll do the cul-de-sac, which is a better better concept than the Hammerhead, and then we also get the extra parking to boot. With a Hammerhead, it looked like, and what it's going to do is draw people to park there. And what's going to happen is then the people you still can't turn around. The emergency vehicle is going to be, there's going to be a car parked there, whether they're supposed to be or not. So here with the cul-de-sac, that eliminates that gesture to park down there. So that's.
Michael, did the fire department or anybody, life safety, have anything to say on this?
No, I mean, but I don't think they would like the Hammerhead as well.
Right.
I mean, anytime they could get the police and fire in there, it's always better for us.
We've not any issues with the 10-foot separation on the other buildings that we know of?
Not in the condos. Single family homes, there's been a lot of issues where people have been opposed to it, but when it gets to the condos, nobody has seemed to have any say. And we brought this up to fire before, and they didn't have any concerns with it as well.
Do you have any additional questions from any of the board members?
Oh.
Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept the variance for the minimum separation of the buildings down to 10 feet.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the variance to allow 10-foot separation of the buildings. We could please have a roll call vote.
Chris Diffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Brodacco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
Tom Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Have a second variance request. Applicant is requesting a variance for a minimum setback from the center line of a private road of 33 feet. Zoning resolution section 400.10B.56.L.4, 50-foot minimum setback from the center line of a private road. Does the zoning department have anything to say about this?
Yeah, this is going based off of his 22-foot setbacks off the edge of the road. It's got, and that's based off of that. So it matches the existing.
It's basically what was approved in the past.
Yes.
Okay, I believe the applicant's already talked about it. Do we have any other questions from the board?
No.
No.
Do we have any motions?
Make a motion, we approve the setback to 22 feet.
I'll second that.
Beat me to it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the variance of the setback to allow the 22-foot setback, or we could have a roll call vote, please.
Chris Diffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Brodacco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
Tom Phillips, and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Okay, you have your permit and your 2 variances.
All right, now we get the engineering done and try to get it wrapped up this year.
Righty, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much. Thanks for your patience with my, our IT situation here.
No problem, thank you.
I'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, we have a conditional use application, LLP Brimfield LLC. 30050 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 100, Pepper Pike, Ohio. This is a conditional use request. Applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a proposed nursing home. per zoning resolution section 309.02 B10. Institutions for human medical care such as, but not limited to, hospitals, clinics, medical health care facilities, and nursing homes subject to the provision of Chapter 4 and Section 400.10.b, subsection 6, 14, and 51. This is what this is already an issue that we've covered once before, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
This was approved before, and they're coming back in. A little bit of some changes to the building, but I'll let Dave Mitchell's here representing him. So I'll
Yes.
let him go with it. But this was approved before with variances and just a few minor changes. I think he wants to get going this year. So
Let us know then, Dave.
Good evening. Dave Mitchell here on behalf of LTC Brimfield LLC. We also have Mike Woolwin, who's our civil engineer, and Dan Cirk, who's the project architect. This property is located at 5075 State Route 43, which is the northwest corner of Route 43 and Malloy Road. Property's roughly 9.3 acres, zone general commercial. And as Mr. Ladd mentioned, back in 2018, an affiliated entity of ours, Biltmore Healthcare, came before you as the buyer of this property under a purchase agreement and sought conditional use approval and requested several variances to construct and operate a roughly 72,000 square foot 90-bed nursing home on the property. And as you mentioned, nursing homes constitute institutions for human medical care under Section 309 of your zoning ordinance. And you approved that conditional use in January of 2019. At that time, we provided extensive evidence of all the various required showings for conditional uses and so on. I won't go back through those tonight unless you want to hear those. And you also approved 7 variances. After several extensions of that conditional use approval, it expired in January of this year. So we're back before you basically to re-up, if you will, that conditional use approval. So you might ask what have we been doing all this time? And we've made a lot of progress on this project, albeit not in time to start building before the previously approved conditional use expired. So LTC, which again is an affiliate of the original applicant, Biltmore Healthcare, acquired the property in December of 2019. So we own it. We filed and received approval from the Ohio Department of Health for a certificate of need for 96 nursing home beds to be relocated to this site. That was approved in October of 2020, so we couldn't have started construction before that. As Mike can provide further details on, we've been working with Portage County, the city of Kent, on the water and sewer approvals to this site, as well as ODOT. We've negotiated a lease with the operator, so Foundations Health Solutions, which is the largest private operator of nursing homes in the state of Ohio, is going to run this building. And then COVID, throw COVID in there. So we've been busy, but not constructing. So especially with COVID going on, we took the time to sit down with the future operator and really refine the building to make it more efficient for their operation, and to also allow us to build it within the cost limitations of our approved certificate of need. And so that resulted in us basically squaring up the building. You have hopefully in front of you Mike Woolwin's drawings. This is Dave Mitchell sharing his screen right now. So if you look on the second page of Mike's drawings, you see a color diagram. The gray shaded areas there are the new plan. The light pink area is the old previously approved plan. And then the darker pink areas are kind of where they overlap. So you can see we used to have a trapezoid shaped building, and now we have sort of a rectangle or two squares side by side. And I think allows us both from inside the building as well as the exterior of the building to make a little bit better use of the site and for our purposes. And we've seen this in action. The original building that we proposed was based on a building we actually constructed in Menor. That was a roughly 82,000 square foot building. The new design basically mirrors a building that we just completed in Talmadge. Was CO'd I think 2 weeks ago, hasn't opened yet, but we learned a lot of things in the construction of that building that we liked. Much more efficient building than the Menor building. So we're getting better at this. Basically, we're not asking for, the use is the same that you previously approved. The variances are identical to the ones that you previously approved. All we're asking for tonight is the approval of the building design on the site. And we are confident that we will start building late spring, early summer of this year. Happy to answer any questions, or Mike or Dan, if you have anything to add, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to talk just briefly where we are with the approval process on this. We have been making great strides as far as construction drawings and reviews and that sort of thing. So we've submitted to ODOT for the driveway permits as well as all the utility right-of-way permits. I expect to have that approval letter in hand. Well, I expected it months ago. He's telling me this week. That's how it's been lately. So our access has been approved, subject to getting the final letter. We've received comments from Portage Soil and Water from Eric Long. He had some minor comments. We revised, resubmitted. I expect a letter. He promised it to me by the end of this week. So that'll be our final approval for stormwater. We've been working with the city of Kent on a public water line extension. Kent's water line stops at Malloy. Sorry, I'm looking at my screen. Make sure I speak right here. So it stops at Malloy at the southwest corner of Malloy and 43. We're going to be extending the water line down the west side of Route 43, down along the frontage of our property. So the city of Kent has approved that completely. We're now submitting that to the EPA for our final EPA approval on the public water line, which is a mere formality in the EPA world. We've also submitted, or will be submitting tomorrow actually, to Portage Water Resources for our sewer permit. We've been waiting on some for the architectural guys to get to that point where they can submit that. So we expect to have all of our site approvals in hand within the next couple of weeks or so, and then we're ready to start construction at that point, as soon as the weather breaks.
None of the changes in the building will affect any of the old variances. They're all going to be, they'll all hold up with the new building.
Yeah, yes. If you look at the drawings that we submitted on the overlay that Dave Mitchell was talking about, as well as on the site plan sheet C2, it references in the zoning box at the bottom left-hand corner all the variances that were granted, what amounts were granted, and then we have the new amounts on the new site plan. So while there are some changes to the building and the shape changed a little bit, concerning the variances, it's very similar to what was originally granted, but do not exceed what was originally granted.
Won't need to see you for that.
You've heard enough of that tonight.
Outside of the building, it's going to be the same as what was previously approved. I mean, I've seen the what you're planning on putting, what it should look like in the drawings and so forth, but it's pretty much what was offered the first time around.
Yes, and we submitted the materials list or photograph of the materials to be used. They're identical to what was on the original submittal.
Yeah, architecturally, the main facade facing 43 did not change significantly at all. Really, what happens, you can see in Mike's overlay, is the sides of the buildings have been, as David mentioned, squared off. Same materials, same modulation, but we definitely did gain some efficiencies in the function of the building. And since we had some time, we took the opportunity to make the building more efficient, is in essence what happened. A lot of it has to do with the way the operator functions and lessons learned from other facilities.
The entrance, exit, so forth will still be off of Malloy Road?
Yeah, there's an access point on Malloy Road. That's in the same location it was previously approved. We have two drive locations on State Route 43. The southern access point is where it was originally approved. As we modified the building, the one area at the front door wanted to shift a little bit to line up with the door. So we've been working with ODOT on that. They're modifying the permit they had previously granted us. So generally it's about 15 feet away, but generally in the same 3 locations.
Were there any comments from any of the local residents or property owners?
No, there weren't on this one either.
Hey, Bruce, question though, if this is a new conditional use permit, don't they have to do those variances all over again? Or do they just apply?
I think variances, as long as they remain the same or smaller, that's why we like on variances always go with the property.
Okay.
So, I mean, it could be a completely different development, and if the variance is applied, they would go with it.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions from the board? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion that we accept the conditional use permit for the proposed nursing home on this property.
I'll second it.
Would like a friendly amendment to that.
Sure.
To include the fact that we, that they obtain all of the permits and letters, so forth, that Mike so nicely told us all about here tonight.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional permit based on the applicant receiving all of the permits necessary. We could please have a roll call vote.
Bruce Nippenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Mordaco,
Yes.
Ed Tooting,
Yes.
Tom Phillips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you have your conditional permit. Thank you.
Good
Thank you very
luck.
much. Have a good evening.
Next item would be for the good of the order. Do we have anything for the good of the order?
We have some zoning changes that
Okay.
you should be aware. Maple Crest West is going to be going forward. There's going to be many projects coming forth in that area with DHOF. But it did change to integrated commercial, right where the residential office was. So, and then I think there's some talks about going to the other side of the road as well. So we'll see what happens with that.
That's the area behind where the stores are now.
So Maple Crest West goes all the way up to where the Pulte homes are going. We've got plans and several businesses coming in there. And then across the street from that, which is already zoned IC, there's some homes in the area that are for sale, and I know they're in the talks. So we'll see what happens on that side as well.
Anything else about for good of the order? All right. Do we have anything for our next meeting?
No.
Not yet.
Nothing as of yet?
Nothing yet.
All right. All right, well, if we do, I believe it'll be March 17th and same time.
Yep.
All righty. Thank you.
Go ahead,
I'm
Vince.
looking for one. Oh, go ahead. I'm looking for one more motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. If we could please have a roll call vote.
Chris Niffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
No.
I want to stay on all night.
Yeah, all night. I'll change mine to yes.
Vince Brodacco,
Yes.
Ed Shooty,
Yes.
John Phillips,
Yes.
and Clayton Popick.
Yes.
You've been outvoted, Scott, but you're willing to stay online all you want.
I'll be here next month, guys.
Okay. Hey, have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.
Yep.
Hi, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now.